Hello everybody, welcome back. If you've been following this channel for a while, you'll know by now that I adore Dr. Nowhere, aka Silas Orion. Hell, we even got to interview him for this video.
People genuinely responded to that. The people who told me that it was like, just made me cry, like in a good way.
But now that he's been making these creepy yet profound, surreal horror videos for a while now, I've started to look back and see a real grime war, a real collection of curious creatures which has begun to emerge. And tonight, I want to show you my favorite weird Dr. Nowhere entities, both the silly and also the very disturbing. There are over 70 individual Dr. Nowhere creatures confirmed so far. And the information compiled here in this video is sourced from the Dr. Nowhere wiki page and from Mr. Orion's social media. But there's one more thing. I have sorted the entities in order from least to most dangerous, separated into multiple tiers or categories based on the material that we have available so far. So while things might be silly and whimsical at the start, with each new entry, the list is only going to get more profoundly disquieting, I guess. Fill in the blank with disturbing adjective. Tier 1. They can't hurt me. Okay, starting off easy, most of the friendly people in Tier 1 are innocuous folk, perhaps loving, perhaps doting and kind-hearted. At worst, they are completely and utterly harmless. Harmless, I tell you. When you think of warm feelings inside, these creatures are what will appear in your mind's eye. They will not hurt you, physically or psychologically. Black Hat Trench is a mysterious entity whose intentions remain largely unknown. You'll see that as a theme which develops as we go. Many of Silas's pieces are mainly an image with a few sentences of flavor text as a caption on either Twitter or Instagram, and while obviously some of them have dedicated art videos with storytelling and character development, even within those videos it can sometimes be difficult to tell what's going on given the strange and unusual and just like symbolic nature of a lot of the Doctor's work. Trench, 21 Pilots reference, Trench is characterized by its striking appearance, resembling a tall figure with an unusually dark complexion and arms that extend down to its feet. A prominent feature is its large black hat, which obscures its facial characteristics, at least in most of these pictures, contributing to its enigmatic presence. The birthday giants are fascinating and peculiar creatures that Dr. Nowhere described on Twitter. They appear to be tall, thin beings without necks, with heads that are starkly black in color, contrasting with their tan or white bodies. Their heads are unique in that the tips of their heads vary in shape. Some resemble crowns, while the others take on the form of trees, which just all adds to their mystique. According to Dr. Nowhere's description, the birthday giants reside just outside old towns, patiently waiting for birthday celebrations to begin. And when the festivities start, they demand to be celebrated, taking on the role of almighty jerks, but in a way that suggests that they might simply be misunderstood. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Dr. Nowhere suggests that these giants simply need love and empathy, acknowledging the challenges that they face during their lonely existence. It's also implied that the giants will migrate away if the townspeople don't give them the attention that they crave. There is an idea mentioned in the text that's hugging your local birthday giant, which I think is hilarious. Crayon Craig appears to be a completely white humanoid with a crayon-shaped head. He eats crayons. I guess maybe he's a bit more dangerous if you're a crayon. Next, Cloud People. These mysterious invisible entities are believed to inhabit the troposphere, the lowest layer of Earth's atmosphere. They may come from the other side of the endless universe. Though typically unseen by humans, these beings are described as having distinctive peculiar features. Their heads are disproportionately large, shaped like inverted white cones with a single massive eye at the center. Connected to a humanoid torso, they possess 4 elongated arms that extend gracefully around them, giving them an eerie yet elegant form. Behaviorally, Cloud People display a strong aversion to being observed. They seem to possess an acute awareness of when they're being looked at, despite their invisibility to the human eye. It is thought that they might become uneasy or even hostile if they sense someone attempting to spot them in the skies. These entities, though elusive, are said to drift above us with a hidden, watchful presence, blending seamlessly with the clouds they dwell among. And it kind of reminds me of like a religious fear of being watched by guardian angels or by God himself, or the spirits of those who have passed on in every waking moment. Symbol Sawhand is a humanoid that has what appears to be a symbol for a head, with a small face on top that can change emotions. It is overall slender, and its right arm is fittingly a saw, while his left has sharp black fingers. It seems to sport a formal shirt with pockets on its chest. It also has a tool belt that holds more saws that vary in size. Presumably he is a carpenter, hence the tools. Driving down the highway is a mysterious giant creature that has been reported to manifest in foggy conditions along highways and interstates, characterized by long elongated legs and a highly arched back. Yeah, arch that back driving down the highway. You know what the people want. The creature exhibits physical traits similar to those of various predatory animals, suggesting it's built for speed and agility. Interestingly, instead of running, it moves with impressive long strides on all fours towards its destinations. The Dark Walker appears to be an extraordinarily tall human creature with long, thin arms. Its most striking feature is the completely white eyes, which add to the eerie presence. In the sky, there are 2 moons visible. An anomaly since our regular world only has 1. The reason for the second moon is unclear, but it may be connected to the Dark Walker, or possibly its influence over the sky, or a reflection created by the creature. I was originally going to have this guy higher as a more dangerous entity, but the nature of the 2 moons remains a complete mystery, and while it's speculated that he created the second moon, and it's possible that the gravity from the second moon would mess things up here on Earth, I don't think the creature itself is inherently malevolent. There's nothing implying that, so it stays in Tier 1. David Lazaroid, also known as the retired rockstar superhero, is a character who blends elements of rockstar fame and superhero lore. With his distinctive British accent, I wonder who this could be referencing. He has a certain charm, charisma, and presence that sets him apart from other similar British people. His skills in jailbreaking, likely referring to his ability to bypass digital or physical security cameras, add a layer of technical prowess to the already fascinating persona. While he is retired, or at least it's implied that he is retired, it's clear that his past as a rock star and a superhero still influence his actions and decisions and interactions with the world. He has a combination of rebellion, expertise, charisma, and an army of Major Toms. Don't ask about what those are. The next entity is called the Griever of the Lavender Skies, or GLS. And I love how Dr. Nowhere names stuff sometimes. Griever of the Lavender Skies is such a fantastic name. It would be crazy if he made an entity whose name abbreviated was TOE. I'm glad that hasn't happened. GLS is a haunting, ethereal figure, appearing as a floating hollow body with nothing discernible within. Its head is entirely featureless, except for an enormous, gaping mouth, a dark void resembling a black hole, drawing all attention to its emptiness. The creature lacks eyes, its limbs are thin, its single leg and 2 skeletal arms are so emaciated that they barely resemble limbs at all, almost as if they are faint traces of what once was, rather than solid appendages. He woke up different, also known as Hwud, is a tall, pale human figure with strikingly long and skinny legs. Look at the skinny legs on that boy. The jet black hair adds to the unsettling appearance, giving it an eerie and otherworldly aesthetic. Despite being kind of humanoid in nature, HWUD displays physical traits resembling a dog creature, suggesting a blend of human and animal characteristics. The observed behavior appears to be passive. It has not been documented attacking or exhibiting aggressive tendencies towards the camera operator in available footage. This could imply imply a reserved or non-confrontational nature, which is why it's lower in my list here. Let's just imagine for a moment, though, that it were to be violent in some way, because most creatures have the capacity for violence somewhere behind those eyes. You know, no matter how silly, no matter how goofy, that somewhere back there's a killer. There's a potential killer. It could even be accidental, who knows? This thing looks like it could be pretty strong. If it were to display aggressive behavior, it is likely that it would be a very efficient stalker. It's got long legs, it can get across long distances quickly. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near this thing, I'm afraid, if it turned out to have predatory behavior pattern. Next up is heartworming. I love the name. This is a being that highly resembles soap. More on soap later. For those of you who use 4chan, or play League of Legends, or watch video essays about My Little Pony, soap is something that is used to clean the human body, or other bodies, in fact. Just like flesh in general can be cleaned using soap. It can repel oils and such. Housewalkers are enormous creatures that resemble hermit crabs in some ways, as they use large houses, typically 3 stories or taller, as their shells. From the photos available, it appears that housewalkers have the ability to either fly or levitate, although the exact mechanics of this are currently unknown. Inside the house that they use as a shell, there is a visible eye and mouth located beneath it. Next up is Jeppy Jothers, one of the Sunfolk, owner of Jeppy's Thing Store of Stuff and Other Things, and factory farm cultivation entrepreneur. Also a self-proclaimed professional prankster, for what it's worth. He sells prank gadgets under an alias despite everyone knowing that it's him. He wears a completely ineffective disguise because he's afraid his wife will find out. However, twist. She is the one who gave him the idea, canonically. Jeppy's an average sunfolk. He gets up every morning, goes to work, gets distracted, and loves trinkets and doodads and knickknacks alike. He's quite the collector. Jeppy lives in the same city as every other character at the start of Where Did Life Go? He also is known to like the sound of wind chimes, so if you want to summon him, little ring-a-ling-a-ding-dong. Don't question the hand movements that I'm making right now. Next up, we have Johnny Smokestack, a creature with skeletal limbs, a smoking pipe instead of a nose, dark brown gloves, pale yellow trousers with suspenders, a torn burlap sack with a smile on the head. He is confirmed to live in the year 5690, which you'll notice 69 is in the middle of. What this means, we will never tell. He is notoriously a delinquent and local town goof-off. It is said that everyone loves him. Even though he acts like a delinquent, though, he is the future co-owner of the factory, the mysterious factory in the background of some of these images. Lost children are entities that resemble windmills, with slender bodies which possess only legs for mobility. These creatures feature a singular eye situated on the hub. While their exact behavior remains largely unexplored, it is believed that they may wander without clear destination, imitating the actions and mannerisms of lost children. Speaking of which, next up we have the Lost Creature, a small peculiar figure, mysterious and delicate, giving off an air of quiet curiosity. It has a frail and malnourished look. The figure seems to hover just slightly above the ground instead of walking, moving as if gliding. It lacks a head entirely, which makes it stand out as something dreamlike and gives it an unusual silhouette. Without eyes or ears, the lost creature experiences the world in a way we can't fully understand. Its lack of sight means it can't see its surroundings, obviously, and its absence of ears prevents it from hearing. These missing features contribute to its mysterious nature. Its experience of the world must be unlike anything we know, limited to what it might sense in other, less obvious ways. As a result, the creature appears to be in a state of confusion, out of place, yet harmless and non-threatening. This next one is called Medical Emergency, but I suspect that a lot of the names of the entities in the wiki page are just kind of whatever Dr. Nowhere named the art piece itself, not the actual name of the creature, but I digress. This angel is an unsettling figure. Its form a fleshy mass with a central core and tendrils. 2 tendrils are currently interacting with a patient engaged in a healing process. A smaller, top-hatted mask sits atop the main body, adding an element of mystery. Michael Tedford is a tall creature with dark spots, potentially blood, on the torso. His limbs are thin but very long, a common theme we've seen throughout a lot of these designs. Instead of a face, there is a blue box that simply reads, "The face you are looking for no longer exists." His head was ripped off by a breath man and mounted onto its own body, causing an anomaly to occur in the real world. Neff is the main protagonist of the Happy Hungry's children's television series, produced during the early 5000s. Due to the escalation of famine and heat exhaustion on Earth, humanity had become psychologically shattered and created the series as a desperate attempt to emulate their innocent past. Neff is a flayed being, anchored to a dark void via his own nerves. Interestingly, these nerves appear to be developing their own personality and consciousness. Despite the fact that Neff is always smiling, his nerves upset him. In terms of appearance, Neff may very well be the most surreal and unusual of Silas's creations. His form is primarily composed of intricate, bright red, vein-like tendrils that extend outward, resembling a vascular system without a solid body. The tendrils converge at the center, creating a strange structure. The lower part of the body is a chaotic jumble of red tendrils and strands, almost as if the character was torn open, or is literally a synapse. Next up we have the Pickle Lover. And you know me, I do love pickles. A known creature distinguished by its unknown stingers. Appearing in several recent images, the unusual features and name suggest a quirky nature. Very mysterious, very odd, very, very weird. Don't give him your pickles. The Railroad Man has gray cylindrical features with two small eyes positioned on its face. It has a rectangular mouth with visible teeth. Its body is long and connected in an unusual way, most likely making its home from lurking around railroads. Scary Elevator Man. Very creative titles here. As a tall man with a boxy torso. He wears a brown coat and pants that are described as colorful, despite him being a scary elevator man. He also wears two large, almost clownish black shoes. In his hands, he holds a shopping bag from the Googie Mart, although he seems unsatisfied with his purchases. He has gray hair sprouting from the top of his head. The hair bobs up and down very subtly. He has no eyes, and there is instead pale skin where the eyes should be. Scary Elevator Man, despite his blindness, knows where you are, what kind of person you are, and what kind of person you will become. He will be in the elevator with you for a very long time. Scary Elevator Man has the ability to change his voice into the voice of a dead person you once loved. If none of your loved ones are dead, then he will input the memory of a loved one who never existed. He will also sing songs while in the elevator with you, so you have that to look forward to. Spine cones are grotesque parodies of pine cones, mimicking their structure but deviating from the natural form in a pretty horrifying way. Instead of the familiar woody exterior, spine cones are covered in a fleshy substance that gives them a disturbing, pulsating appearance. While disgusting, they are not going to sneak into your house in the middle of the night to bite your fingernails. Just don't eat them too often because they have the consistency of protein gushers. Spine men, likely affiliated with spine cones, are tall, thin, skeletal beings that are described as cognito-hazardous creatures. Abnormal skull for a head. They hunt by standing and patiently waiting until the victim moves or gives any sign of life. They can move with incredible speed, and they can also communicate with one another. It is likely that they can hurt people. It's just that I choose to believe that they wouldn't hurt me. This image is called Sitting Silently. The creature has simple black dotted eyes and is depicted sitting in a chair. Its toes and hands are not seen in the first image but are visible in the second, suggesting the creature either has the ability to shift its physical appearance or, more fun, that the limbs manifest only under certain circumstances. Imagine if you grew a third leg, well, for me it would be a fourth leg. Imagine if you grew a fourth leg only when it rains. You get it? I think you get it. Second Chance is an eerie figure with no legs who floats in the air with unsettling grace. The creature's body is supported by 4 arms that extend from the torso, each capable of moving independently. The most striking feature, however, is obviously the head, a large, ominous clock, and in the center of the clock's face is an eye imprint. It's almost as though the creature is constantly observing the passage of time. Remember how I said we'd get back to Soap? We are now back to Soap. Soap is a diminutive creature with a sleek body and a simple white inverted triangular head. He's just a little guy. We love Soap. Soap is fantastic. Here on the Daniel Profeta channel, I highly recommend Soap. Thank you. The watchtowers are large, stationary creatures with a dome-shaped eye resting atop a structure of scaffolding, which seems to provide support for the massive eye. Its general purpose, origins, and behaviors remain a mystery. This is Tumorhead. He seems to have the head of a tumor, or even it's a head protruding from a tumor. Very skeletal, doesn't seem to have any eyes. Just a weird guy. This is the worker on the roof. He is working on the roof. Here's Windmill Girl. Seems to be a female counterpart to Soap. A pink head, simple facial structure, sleeveless lemon yellow shirt. Obviously Soap's girlfriend. Yarn is an apparently peaceful creature with a boxy head and blocky face. The overall style for this one is cartoonish. It has seemingly no chin and a stubby neck. Tier 2. Ah, my mind! Okay, so this tier is a little bit worse, a little more messed up, a little less trifling, if you will. These guys cannot physically harm you, but they do have the tendency to inflict intense emotional or psychological damage to those they come in contact with. These damages take many forms, but for all intents and purposes, they are unlikely to immediately kill you. Hence why I'm putting them here in tier 2. The Enclagères are entities cloaked in black. Their head appears as a large luminous star shape. At the center of this radiant form is a single prominent eye. The star's rays extend outward like spikes, giving the creature a celestial appearance, very ethereal. They manifest before individuals who have committed what are perceived as unforgivable sins, seemingly to offer a chance for redemption. Their appearance is often preceded by a soft glow as it's emanating from hallways or dimly lit spaces at night. Upon encountering one of these angelic beings, individuals experience an overwhelming wave of guilt. They relive every transgression they have ever committed, and they become immobile, consumed by remorse. Angel meat is a known representation of a fallen angel, or even the fallen angel. Described as the wisdom tooth of the universe, it is shown with its mouth open, wide in a scream, with multiple hooks or wires digging into its head, perhaps as torture. Its head shape could be the result of the wires stretching the skin apart. The creature's body is draped with white cloth, and its hands are strings that hang from the wrist. The Behold creature is an unnerving and otherworldly being, distinguished by its large, round head that lacks any form of eyes. Behold does have a thin mouth that is mostly curled in a frown, and it has a hole where its nose would be. Behold also has white, stringy hair coming from its head? Hold on. No, it doesn't. White, stringy hair? Where? I mean, kinda? Maybe? This isn't the first thing I've noticed while recording this video that seems out of place with the descriptions on the wiki. I've been trying to change the wording as I go a little bit so it sounds more normal, but man, this is kind of weird. Let's just keep going. I'm going to read this next part without trying to alter it in any way. The absence of eyes further intensifies its unsettling presence, as if it exists outside the norms of life. Its body is exceptionally thin, particularly in its limbs, which are long and unnaturally elongated, giving the creature an almost skeletal look. These elongated limbs are disproportionate to its body, accentuating its unnatural and unsettling form. The creature possesses 4 lengthy arms, each adding to the disconcerting image of its gaunt and awkward physique. Its slender build, combined with its lack of eyes and its strange, elongated proportions, make it appear entirely alien, as though it does not belong to this world. This odd and haunting form evokes a sense of unease, as if it is a creature that defies the laws of nature, presenting an unnatural and foreign presence in any environment it inhabits. Sorry, that was a bit of a mouthful. Like, doesn't that sound a little odd to you? The limbs are elongated, and the elongated limbs are lengthy. Additionally, if you are unaware, the creature possesses 4 lengthy limbs. Anyways, the proportions are elongated. So I'm beginning to suspect that the fandom wiki is lying to me a little bit. But if you know how these types of wiki pages work, you'll know that it's generally user-assisted or user-written, similar to Wikipedia, but with even less emphasis on citing sources or just general quality, which means that a user wrote this stuff, and it is possible to see who by looking at the contributions section, and it looks like most of the Dr. Nowhere stuff is by the same person. But regardless, let's continue for now. The backwards creature appears to be like a skeleton, although its form is unusually elongated. God damn it, dude. Why is everything elongated? Hollow eye sockets and empty mouth suggests a creature that is closely tied to death or decay, as if it were a manifestation of something lost or forsaken. Seeing this thing can drive mortals to madness, viewing past the veil. If you're wondering how I came to some of the mental anguish conclusions in putting these entities in tier 2, any of the descriptions or posts that reference the entity instilling deep-seated fear or loneliness or pain in any who would view them, those creatures get an honorary spot in tier 2, obviously. Cone zones are deceptive entities that lure their victims with an air of friendliness. They are most commonly encountered during the 0.001% phenomenon, a rare event experienced by individuals admitted to psychiatric wards. These figures project an aura of harmlessness, often initiating or inviting conversation. However, engaging with them accelerates an individual's descent into madness. Lurking in the darkness, waiting to jump out and ambush those who despise Christmas, the carolers wait new victims. Once human, the carolers are now transformed beings associated with a mysterious cult. They are known to move in groups of 3 to 5, roaming in search of victims. Their primary method of luring prey is through hypnotic singing, which places listeners into a trance-like state and compels them to follow the sound. Victims frequently report being haunted by the carolers' grotesque appearance and eerie melodies long after an encounter. Next up, we've got Philbus, one of my favorite Dr. Nowhere characters. Let's go. Philbus gang, rise up. We've got this. Philbus is an unusual figure. The creature has a jet black torso and beige head and hands, its legs resembling the structure of a chair. Atop its head sits a small black top hat balanced upon its bald head. Although Philbus's exact nature remains vague, it has developed an odd association with a concept known as Philbism. Have you ever wanted to honor Philbus, but don't know how? Don't worry, it's simple. All you need to do to start is eat a chair. It doesn't matter what type or what method. Cut up into little chair pieces? That's fine. Devouring the chair whole? That's fine. You can also season the chair using seasonings of choice. Salt is fine. Pepper is fine. Sawdust is fine. Anything is fine. Remember, to honor Philbus, you must start by eating a chair, and then you will be enlightened by Philbus. All hail Philbus. This video was sponsored by Philbus and Philbism partners. Just to clarify, as I've said repeatedly, Philbism does not exist in reality, so stop pretending that it does. There's not much information on this creature called the Follower. It appears in the video, "Has this ever happened to you?" It has a moist red face, similar in appearance to the boiled one, albeit with a few differences, and it repeats there is nothing that follows you after you turn off all the lights in the house. Presumably, it is the thing that follows you after you turn off all the lights in the house. Guilt, also known as the boy or the boy in the bath, the names are not necessarily canon, is the creature seen in The Boy in the Bath, released by Dr. Nowhere on March 30th, 2024. Guilt is a slender, tall figure with a deteriorating neck. It has a head that seems flattened or sliced, as well as what appears to be roots or mold sticking out of its throat. It is implied that this is the manifestation of the guilt the parents feel after potentially letting their kid drown in a bathtub. Longboy Bonsai may often engage in dancing, a strange and unsettling form of movement that can become aggressive depending on its mood. When angered or provoked, the dancing becomes more frantic and intense, suggesting an emotional or territorial response. Despite these violent displays, however, many speculate that the creature would be harmless if it was just left undisturbed. The only known historical context surrounding this entity is that it fought in the Plurnian War of 08, although details about this conflict are scarce, leaving many to wonder if the battle was of otherworldly or cosmic significance. Next, we have the Nightmare Man, a supernatural entity that manifests within the dreams of designated individuals. It derives satisfaction from pain, fear, and suffering experienced by the dreamer, and it often contributes to the formulation of distressing scenarios that can then have a significant impact on the individual's waking life. The obelisks of enlightenment are tall, mysterious beings with a fleshy exterior that suggests they are alive, as opposed to just being stone structures. Extending from their bodies are long, fleshy strings that appear to connect to the sky, possibly linking them to something unknown above. Obelisks are known to move extremely slowly, advancing about 2 inches per year. They have been spotted in diverse and extreme environments, including deserts, oceans, even on the moon, and have a lot of unidentifiable traits that make them very weird. When interacting with humans, obelisks use their fleshy strings to grab onto them forcefully and inflict the burden of ultimate knowledge, infinite knowledge, which kind of sucks and will ruin your life. Rubarbia appears as a tall figure dressed in black clothing, its head consisting of a light switch that acts as a face, with like the little toggle being the nose, and some fleshy veins or strings that are used to hold the shape of its head. It has 2 piercing blue eyes and a toothy grin, and its arms are long, thin bundles of wires that reach down to the ground. I think that just seeing this guy would drive any man mad. The Skinless Insulter is a skinless entity, obviously, with a thin skeletal figure and an elongated oval head. The eyes are censored. It seems that this is a highly distorted yet identical genetic skinless copy of a certain unknown internet user who insulted the in-universe owner of the picture, hence the name, the Skinless Insulter. The Doctor is a mysterious, malevolent, paranormal entity, very elongated. Its appearance is that of an unnaturally tall male being wearing what resembles a suit complete with 6 long, gangly arms that stretch down to his knees. Spikes are on his head and form the shape of a 4-pronged hat. The Doctor seems to stalk specific people, like you or me, but its intentions are unknown. Victims who reportedly see this entity experience chronic paranoia, disturbing visions, hearing disembodied voices in the middle of the night, and a hunger for non-human delicacies. In the year 1947, an unnamed individual took a photo of his sister and her family on a plot of grassland that their father owned. The Doctor appeared in the image, standing perfectly still, and after the photo was taken, the photographer explained that he felt an unsettling presence nearby. Upon turning and spotting the entity, it disappeared almost instantaneously. Later, in 1950, 4 months after the individual provided commentary on the photo, he vanished without a trace, with only his clothing and personal belongings remaining. So almost like a harbinger of the rapture from Left Behind, and also the Bible. The Enemy of Dreams. This is an interesting character. The dark eye sockets seem to absorb light, adding to the emptiness and darkness within. Do not ignore the unfamiliar voices in your dreams. Honestly, this character feels very similar to the Nightmare Man thing from earlier. Probably inflicts nightmares, or even maybe eats your dreams. Who knows? It could be like a mimic of a loved one that has infiltrated your dreams and tries to communicate with you in a manipulative or deceptive sort of way. Who knows? The Long Neck, also known as the Red Smiley Face, is a biomechanical artificial creature. Its head resembles a red smiley face, while its abnormally long neck can stretch, bend, and contort. The creature has tentacle-like appendages for arms hidden beneath a black cloak and only revealed on rare occasions. Beneath its cloak, however, there is a chaotic arrangement of wires, screens, various devices, and displays that appear to show its organs, mimicking parts like lungs or a heart or just guts in general, and the machinery holds together through some unknown force despite the mess of components. The red smiley face initially manifests as a pop-up icon on a person's computer, like desktop or laptop, and when clicked, it will download a virus that allows the entity to breach from the virtual world into the real one. Once it emerges, it begins to stalk its target, observing and following them in their daily life. Who knows what would happen next? Probably nothing good. The Umbra Hominis's body appears as pure, uninterrupted black, devoid of any distinct details or textures, making it difficult to differentiate where its form begins or ends. It lacks any visible limbs, having only a rounded head as the sole appendage, but its name is Shadow of Man in Latin, so it has that going for it. White Stranger's skin is ghostly pale, blending into its surroundings. The White Stranger's face features a cavernous, tooth-filled mouth and eyes devoid of any light. It appears near trees, which make for effective camouflage within a natural environment. It is unclear what the creature does besides stalking and scaring the dying moonlight out of any who manage to witness their presence. Tier 3, Sticks and Stones are breaking my bones. Please send help. Here's where things get real, and I mean terrifying. Anything that the wiki or the captions implied could physically hurt an individual, that goes here in Tier 3. While a few of the enemies mentioned previously could hypothetically poison your mind irreversibly, these next few can and will rip you limb from limb. Let's get into it. Amber has an eye that can be split open to reveal a large mouth in the middle of its chest. What the hell? No discernible head is present. Amber has been seen galloping along rooftops and suburban streets and highways at night, normally between fall and winter, sometimes very early spring. It shows aggressive and violent behavior towards humans, primarily children, by consuming them whole. A young man in a small town in Tennessee reported watching Amber break its hand through a window of his neighbor's home and retrieve a child that lived there, then popping the child into its mouth. Wow. It is currently unknown whether the creature consumes for sustenance or for a much more sinister cause, like hunger. No real information about Baby Eater John's behavior is known. Nothing about his name implies anything about what he does or what type of person he is, what his values are as an individual. We know he might be the imaginary friend of Brian, though. That is canonical. The Breathmen inhabit the headless macrocosm, generally accessible by waking up there after dreaming about it. These creatures have extreme difficulty breathing, which results in constant suffering. Blind, deaf, and no sense of smell, these pale, distorted creatures navigate their world through feeling. And they are aware of your presence due to their heightened sense of feeling. And the cause of their aggression remains a mystery, with some survivors being found without a head. They were taken. I mean, I guess if you show up at the headless macrocosm and you have a head, it makes sense that they would forcibly separate your head from your neck. Like, it just goes to reason, right? There have been some instances where these creatures have been observed watching sleeping humans, potentially making them dream about the headless macrocosm so they can steal their head. That is just an allegation, though. That is unfounded. I don't have evidence or proof of that. That's just a theory. A Daniel theory. The corrupted soil is a creature of unimaginable size, with a root-like body stretching miles deep into the ground. This one's really cool, y'all. Every 1,000 years it erupts from the earth, soaring miles into the sky, and releases deadly spores upon the townsfolk below. The creature's face is rarely seen. Only those unfortunate enough to witness its emergence catch a fleeting glimpse. The spores it releases, however, cause horrific disfigurements in those they infect. The human body becomes altered, with tentacles writhing out of nearly every orifice, including the ones that you wouldn't want tentacles to be writhing out of, as opposed to the ones that you would probably prefer tentacles to be writhing into. But some people, I'm not going to name any names, but some people probably don't mind whether it's into or out of, because it's like kind of the same thing either way, as long as it's not too painful. Like, if it was, never mind. I'm not going to, you guys know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. While a small amount of human consciousness remains in the infected individuals. Once the full effects of the symptoms take hold, there is no known cure, leaving the victim to suffer their nightmarish transformations until they're just a writhing heap of tentacles. Not saying that there's people who would enjoy that. It's just that, we all know. We know what we're talking. We're on the same page here. The empty is a circular, crimson-colored, circular creature with a deformed face that is in a circle. It seems to float in the air and has spines protruding from its side. When one contacts this entity, it will be in an empty, playful pink room with a single door and music playing quietly. One might hear an aggressive knocking at the door. The empty will then pick up at incredible speed. Once the empty is within one's line of sight by a few feet, it will begin to cry. Then one will sit there forever with the empty as they realize what they have done. At least that's what used to happen, but according to Dr. Nowhere, it appears that the empty is not as forgiving as he used to be. And it's not going to be letting the experimenter wake up as it used to do. So, yeah. Gnarly. Everything's gnarly. Flesh beds! Next up, we have flesh beds, my beloved. I love the flesh beds. Flesh beds are notoriously dangerous, and the only reliable way to prevent a flesh bed from emerging from its hibernation each night is to keep a fan running as the airflow disrupts their sensitivity to heat. These creatures are attuned to changes in temperature, detecting the warmth of a nearby human as an invitation to wake up and seek a meal that they consider fit for a king. During the 1960s, flesh beds were distributed to impoverished communities as part of a misguided welfare initiative which had catastrophic consequences. And to be honest, I'm not totally convinced that it was not on purpose. If I know anything about these types of programs, I will say some of the people running them are fucking evil. In many cases, the creatures fed on vulnerable populations, resulting in a significant but unrecorded decline in the numbers of those affected by poverty. Although the exact toll remains unknown, the events have since become the subject of investigation. Next up, we've got the fungus, and one cool, unique ability that the fungus possess is the power to slowly stretch their necks out. Their necks just keep going. At some point, you have to step back and wonder. You have to stop, drop, and roll and wonder, why do their necks do that? What do they need in their necks that allows it to stretch that far? Can humans, at some point, also stretch their necks in such ways? In the videos that they originate from, the dialogue suggests that the spores released by these beings are likely responsible for transforming ordinary humans into fungal life forms. In one of the videos, the consequences of this spore dispersal are shown visually, with a massive mushroom emerging, its roots sprawling across the environment. The illegal balloon salesman, a highly persuasive character known for his ability to attract those inclined to break the rules. He created a flyer to ensure rule breakers would seek him out. Each balloon he sells contains unique and often bizarre surprise items, such as an embryo that, when placed in gasoline, grows into an exact copy of the illegal balloon salesman, a machine allowing you to see, touch, and taste time, mustard gas in a tiny spray bottle, a tiny star, a normal-sized star. The salesman claims to have a stock of 38.9 quadrillion balloons. I believe him. This next one is just Germa. When confronted with the enigmatic figure dubbed Germiathon, you find yourself presented with a choice of 3 possible actions. Okay, run, and feed. Each decision leads to a unique interaction with the creature. Selecting okay suggests a willingness to engage or explore further, unraveling more of Germiathon's mysteries, cooperating with the entity. Choosing to run signifies fear, distress, a desire to escape. But the choice of feed is the one that really draws my attention. It introduces a strange dynamic, raising questions about what this creature desires, whether it has needs or cravings that can be fulfilled. Odd clicking sounds has no hair or really any discernible features that would make it anything resembling anything human, remotely. Its legs are disproportionately long and spindly. One might even say elongated. The origins of its name are a reference to the clicking noises it emits before it strikes. The few who manage to escape claim to have heard these unsettling clicks just before it hunts them down, kills them, and devours them. You might wonder how did they hear the unsettling clicks before it hunted them down, killed them, and devoured them? And it said they managed to escape, but like the actual wording of it's a little silly, but it's not the first time. The Road Walker is a towering figure with glowing eyes, first seen April 29th, 2021. I don't really believe that. I'm sure the Road Walker has been sighted before this. This is just the first recorded sighting. The Road Walker's appearances have been sporadic. Its presence has been linked to disappearances, unexplained phenomena, and disturbances in the natural world. And as it continues to roam the earth, its terrifying visage leaves many wondering, what is the Road Walker? And what does it portend for the future of mankind going into 2030? Also, I believe it brutally maims anyone under 6 feet tall. Anyone over 6 feet tall will be fine because it considers those a fellow predator, but nothing shorter. So, if you're short, bro, get behind me. The Sunman is a tall entity with extremely long limbs. Some assume are used for hunting prey. Some others describe them as elongated, and it has a star-shaped head. He is hot to the touch. Don't let him touch you. He's literally called the Sunman. Severe garligophobia is the fear of gargling balls. Case report 9136, July 1984. 2 young teens were found inside of their beds one morning, presumably asleep. The father of the older boy went downstairs and headed off to work. They were still asleep when he got back, so he checked his son's pulse and felt or heard nothing. When the results came back, each boy had ruptured lungs. It's a wild guess, but it's possible they laughed themselves to death in the middle of the night. What that has to do with gargling balls, I have no idea. The Locust is a completely black, lanky, tall, humanoid creature with thin, sharp, stick-like arms, a deformed human face with hollow eyes, and tube-like appendages covering its head and neck, all of which suggests that it may be biomechanical in nature. It attacks people by breaking through screens and presumably eating them. From what we can see in the second TOE episode titled Love.Thumper, there is text at the end of the video saying the body appeared untouched, showing that the locust must consume the victim in a different manner, often speculated to eat their organs from like the inside somehow. The Fast Death possesses long, spindly arms resembling something between tentacles and insect legs that end in razor-sharp, needle-like points. Very elongated, even. I'm sorry. It's funny. I gotta keep making fun of it. The name suggests that anyone who is preyed upon by it will die fast. It is unknown how swift the death will be, but I assume that it will be a fast one. Towards the end of September, a notable incident took place during a routine night patrol. Officers observed a small figure moving in the underbrush along the southern side of a nearby field. Initially presumed to be an animal, this figure moved erratically and avoided clear observation. The officers discharged their firearms toward the creature as a precautionary measure. Following the shots, a loud scream was reportedly heard from the field, and an unknown entity emerged, displaying aggressive behavior. This was the curse of Wheatfield Avenue. Getting its name from the classic character of the same name, this creature's most notable facial feature is a long, thin nose sticking out from its face. This is the Pinocchio Man. With its physique, one can assume it is extremely agile and can deal great damage to living beings. That is the only reason it's at this part of the list. I did not think the Pinocchio Man was particularly disturbing. It's just that the description said that it deals great damage to living beings, so I'm honor bound to include it here. Okay, so here's the Watchtower. It had a whole other entry on the wiki, despite it looking exactly like the thing that we called the Watchtowers earlier. Dr. Nowhere did say on social media that this was a water tower that disintegrates people that go beyond city limits. That's interesting stuff, I guess. All right, okay. All right, guys. That's the end of the video. Nothing more to see here. Pay no mind to the fact that there's still some runtime remaining. Just go along your merry way. Retain your innocence. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Are you still here? All right. You're asking for it. There is one more tier. Worse yet than any other. This is the you're screwed category. This is where all hope is lost. I've only put a few mind-breaking entities here. This is just when there's no hope for you whatsoever. Starting off, we obviously have the insanely overpowered Boiled One, also known as Fen 228, an extremely tall, dark mass with a red, melted face, as described by some viewers. The Boiled One is a cognito-hazardous creature. If a person sees the Boiled One's face, they will have an everlasting memory of it as an effect. If at any point after memorizing the Boiled One's face you take a nap or go to sleep, you might be put into pseudocoma. Despite the fact that any contact with the Boiled One will cause one to be paralyzed, the Boiled One's harm is not necessarily lethal. Victims of Fen 228's affection claim they cannot forget the Boiled One's face, as well as saying they hear the sounds of trumpets or the laughter and screaming of thousands in the night. The voice is described as warm yet deeply disconcerting. It can be assumed to have first appeared in a rerun of the 13th episode of a 2003 kids show titled Tree of Heaven. Fen 228 might have appeared somewhere before this, but it is unknown for sure if this is the case. The monstrous creatures from a black hole are entities that lack eyes and also skin, appearing as purple, dark, black hole beings. These creatures are seemingly connected to the cosmic void from which they originate. They appear to be covered in mouths, each mouth having 2 distinct rows of teeth. And while these creatures themselves aren't that crazy, like they normally wouldn't be in the you're screwed category, I think they deserve to be here because they come from a black hole. And if there's a black hole in your backyard, I think you have bigger things to worry about than these creatures. So it's not necessarily the creatures themselves, but more what they imply about your immediate surroundings that I think is you're fucked. And finally, we have Father Fester, also called Father Harvest, a face with a broken and outstretched jaw and deepened eye sockets that the eyes don't seem to fit inside. It usually appears in cramped, small, dark spots. Not much is known about Father, as it only appears every now and then within Dr. Nowhere's Instagram. Its face changes structure slightly in every image, so it's possible it could be evolving. But the reason this is here is because it's described as being infinitely hungry for everything, including time and space itself, concepts, meaning, souls, people, happiness and sadness, and it's on its way to where we are now, slowly but surely. Pack your bags. Don't call me Shirley. All right, before the video ends, I've used wiki pages for videos before. I generally tell you when I'm doing it in a video. I think that readable sources of public information just are very valuable resources for everyone. Unfortunately, it seems like AI-generated garbage, because that's what that was. That's the reason some of these descriptions were like not even applicable to the creatures they were talking about. Just AI garbage, redundant bullshit writing has overtaken recent fandom posts, which was already, like, to be fair, not a great site to begin with. I don't know what the solution is, but in my head it would make sense to ban AI generated descriptions, especially ones that are clearly incorrect, incomplete, or when a single user uploads thousands of entries in a day. It should be obvious that they're using some sort of assistive technology to do that. These types of things are actively making the internet worse and poisoning the well of information. It's really horrible and very sad. However, it was fun looking at all the cool art. If any one of you watches this video and isn't following the doctor on social media, I need you to go over there, follow them, support actual artists. To be totally honest with you, trying to put together this video kind of made me angry. And so I started scripting a whole different video to be angry in. So stay tuned for a fun video in the near future. Till then, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay sane. We are Legion. I will see you in the next transmission. Before I go, I'd like to thank the patrons Kira, AJ Darkbeast, Bile, Coyote, Cuba, Batnoise, Phoenix, Bees, Joy, Amelia, Boris, Panflute, Thomas, Audrey, Justin, Lou, ZK, Tom, Dave, Elkie, Stardrop, New, George, Joseph, Mr. Fox, Possum, Kyojin, Draco, Geek, Lori, Aprils, Kira's, Danny, Paperclip, Linty, Bug, Juno, Joe, Delphi, and Capulet. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching.